Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here from another awesome sunny day here in Ireland. We are in the middle of a heat wave now. We are not used to getting these kind of temperatures, but we will definitely not complain about a bit of extra sun. What we're going to do today is take a look through the markets, take a look at Bitcoin, a few other altcoins, see why the prices are starting to rise in the last week. I'll give you my opinion on it. Again, not a financial advisor, guys, just giving you my personal opinions on it to help you guys make decisions or whatever you want to do after doing your own research. So we'll take a look at that, take a look at some of the biggest news out there, and let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If this is the first video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give the video a like if you get some value. So CoinMarketCap, here we are for, at the minute, Bitcoin's looking at just under $6,600. We did go under $6,000 last week. It did see, we'll see this when I look at the chart. We did see a bit of a rise a few days ago and then another one yesterday, which is very nice to see. One thing people do say is, does the altcoins really correlate to Bitcoin? Well, if we look here at the prices, you can see that the top 9, Tether is its own, I wouldn't really worry about it, but the top 9 coins here, or the 8 after Bitcoin, they are all following a very similar path in their USD price. Now, when you look against Bitcoin, that is slightly different, and this is the view that I always like to watch, is how coins are performing against Bitcoin. For me, Bitcoin is the long-term hold. I own a lot of altcoins as well, but for me, a lot of it is about increasing the amount of Bitcoin I have. So when I am buying, I always look at, if I'm buying for short-term gains, it's always to increase my amount of Bitcoin. So you can see here, lots of the coins are up against Bitcoin today as well, but even these charts are correlating as well. When some of the altcoins are going up, they're nearly all going up against Bitcoin, and the same when they're coming down, they're all coming down. So it is interesting to see. Now, when we look at the coin, actually I'll show you here, the market cap has gone up to 270 billion. We are, I would still say we are still looking at a 1 billion market cap by the end of the year. Get into that in a few minutes. If we look at the market cap here, this is the total market capitalization. If we go back over the 3 months, so it did come down towards the end of June. We were down at 234 billion. We did come up to 274 billion, which is good to see money flooding in like that fairly quickly. And right now we're down around the 269, 270 billion. Now, why is this all happening? If we look at some of the biggest things. Now, if we look back at the charts here, back here at the end of June, people were giving all sorts of reasons of why Bitcoin was done its first rise, why it done its first breakout here. And one of the biggest reasons I personally think is, yes, we were hitting some bit of a bottom. I'm still not sure if that is the bottom or whether we may still see another pullback before the, I'm going to say, inevitable rise. But a lot of the futures contracts finished around the end of June. So that meant there was not as much downward pressure pushing down on Bitcoin, so it was able to rise. People, the guys who will say guys who are manipulating the market to push the price down, they were not as incentivized to do it then, because the future contracts were finished. They were able to come in and buy some cheap Bitcoin. Now, yesterday we've seen some really nice gains again. I would personally say some of the reasons for that is the Coinbase Custody. And it's officially launched now. What this is this is a way for institutional money to get into Bitcoin, get into cryptocurrency. Presumably Bitcoin will be one of the biggest buys. But what it is guys with more than $10 million can come in and buy safely through Coinbase Custody. Now again, it's only open to people with 10 million plus to invest, so it really is catering for that high-end money. Now, a lot of people have been talking about institutional money coming for months and months now, and we have not really seen that reflected because it has been a bear market. We haven't been seeing that, but I do still think it has been coming in, just not coming in the way that we really want to see it coming in. It has been coming in as OTC, which is over-the-counter trades. And basically what that means is that people are buying privately. So people who are coming in to buy huge amounts of Bitcoin, they're doing it privately. They're not doing it on exchanges like Binance or Bittrex or KuCoin, any of the ones that we would personally use. They are doing it over the counter, which is away from the markets, which is done privately. So when they're doing such big volumes, they're able to get discounts, slight discounts, but if they're doing it on huge scale, that's where they've been doing it. With the introduction of Coinbase Custody now, this is a way for that institutional money to come through the markets that should hopefully have a positive impact on the price. As well as that, we've had Bitmex's, where's the one? Here we are. Bitmex's co-founder, Arthur, oh, why can't I think of his second name? Is it here? Arthur Hayes. He is still confident on his prediction of Bitcoin going to 50k within this year. Personally, I don't think we're going to hit the 50k. If we do, happy days. I do think we will break the 20k though later this year. I will do a video specifically on that and where I think we're going to go, but I have kept saying that even in this bull market, I do think we will break last year's highs. I don't think we'll break the 30k, but I think we will push well up past 20k. So I will put a link to this down below the video if people want to see it as well. As well as that, one of the things that he mentions is that we need to see, or not we need to, but if we see an ETF being approved, then that will push Bitcoin up to the 50k mark. So the SEC is now seeking comments on applications for yet another Bitcoin ETF. I do think it is only a matter of time before we actually do get a Bitcoin ETF or a cryptocurrency ETF, whatever you want to call it, but I do think it is going to come in time. It's just about getting it right. So when we look at some of the other news, where are we? Yeah, we'll get into other news after. They are the biggest ones, I personally think. When we look at the charts here, we look at some of the levels. So we did come down to the 5,800 level, and that was the bottom we had seen, or that was the big pullback we had seen way back here in November 2017, just before we had our major bull run. Now, I don't expect it to come as quick as that one did, but that is the level that we did drop down to here, and we're coming back up. So 6,600 is the level now that it is kind of, it's on that, it needs to break that, but the level that it really needs to break up past so we can start to get some upward, positive upward movement is the 7,800 level. And if we look at that, when it was coming up the last time, it got a bit of a pullback and came back down to this level, and then it came up. Again, it didn't break 10k, but that is the next level after this. So we need to be able to push up past this 8,600 level. Or sorry, not past this 7,800 level. That is the next one. Once we get through this 666, you could even say here where it's very minor, 6,800 level. This is the next big one for me to say that we are moving towards a bull run. Again, it should take us a bit of time to get there. There's no way to put a time scale on it, because when you have things like this up, we're looking at technical analysis here, but when you start looking at things like Coinbase launching custody, then these things, they don't really obey technical analysis. If you were just looking at technical analysis, you wouldn't have expected this to jump just quite this quick, but with the bit of good news coming out, that's where we're seeing it. So actually there's one other thing. See here, a tab I didn't close, but Verge, Zcash and Dash are all integrated into WooCommerce for WordPress. Even if you don't like these coins, this is good. It's spreading cryptocurrency. WooCommerce for WordPress is one of the biggest shopping cart functions for websites online. I know you have Shopify as well, but for people who build WordPress sites, WooCommerce is the go-to e-commerce plugin. So it's good to see cryptocurrencies being integrated with that. It is spreading the word about it. One final thing, I was going to do a separate video on it, but we'll touch on it anyway. So look, as hundreds of ICOs start to fail now, look, the huge majority of ICOs are failing out there, and unfortunately there's not a lot we can do about it. You just have to be very careful about the ones you go into. And even when you do that, do all your due diligence. There are still no guarantees in an ICO because it is a startup business and nothing is guaranteed. but we're starting to see the market dominance going back into Bitcoin. So it says here 35% up to 42% in the last 2 months. So I'm going to do a full video on this and we'll dig even deeper into it. But just what I was looking at before going live here. So look, back in last December, the market dominance for Bitcoin was up at 60%. It was actually higher. It was up at 62, 63%. And if you look at the coins there, it gives you the breakdown of the top coins and then it goes into others. Others was only at 11%. If you look at Ripple, it is an interesting one. It was at 2%. When people started to get bullish on cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin dropped down to 32% market dominance. That meant that people were moving their funds out of Bitcoin and pushing it into the altcoins. And we can see that Ripple went up to 19%. This is the time that everyone thought Ripple was going to really explode, and to a certain degree it did. It went way up, went up over $2, but then it started to take a dump, and then it took another dump, and by the time we can back up here into April, we can see that Ripple was back down to 7%. Others was still up at 20%. That is the money that is in other coins that are not in the top 10 here. And Bitcoin was back up to about 45%. Again, when we come into May, people were looking at consensus and expecting the altcoin bull run. That didn't really happen, but you can see Bitcoin came down to 36% market dominance, even down to 35, did it? Yeah, 35 there. But when we didn't hit that in May, June, the expected bull run, people went back to the safety of Bitcoin. And you can see that it went back up to 43%. We're now at 41, 42%. Because people still see Bitcoin as the safe haven. With so many ICOs failing, so many altcoins coming out showing great promise and then falling, people are starting to pull back to Bitcoin. There's a lot of the big guys out there that say all altcoins, all ICOs, all everything are shit apart from Bitcoin. I don't agree on that scale, but I do think that a lot of the altcoins we see now, in 2 years' time, we are not going to see, we're not even going to see 20% of them. It'll probably be about 10% of them will actually be real world usable products. So again, never put all your eggs in one basket. Don't get too attached to one altcoin because you think it's going to be the next latest and greatest. There's a lot of them that show promise but unfortunately fail for different reasons. So make sure you spread around your investments or whatever you want to call them. Just don't put it all into one pot, whatever you want to say. So look guys, I'm going to do a full video on this. Maybe tomorrow I'll dig a bit more into this and put forward a video. The title will grab people's attention. If you got any value from this, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if this is the first of the videos, and give it a share if you think others can get some value from it. So thanks for watching guys. I will talk to you very soon.